And welcome to another outstanding, volume-filled edition of Life Without Sports. I'm not sure what that means, but it still sounds good. I'm Mita Perel. He's Pachico. We're back for more. We are back after a hard-working day at the office yesterday when we had to deign to talk to a Hollywood star by the name
Yeah.
of Mike O'Malley, the pride of the University of New Hampshire, and it was, by all accounts, Mike, some of our finest work.
No,
At least that's what my mother told me.
all kidding aside, he was fantastic. And to pat ourselves on the back for a minute, I felt like we did a good job of just setting him up and letting him kind of talk, because people obviously were interested in hearing what he had to say. But it's just some great insight in Hollywood and how things get done, writing. And then what I thought was particularly interesting was like just how down to earth he was, and maybe he kind of talked us through that. He said he's never really had that really bad, like pompous, arrogant diva experience on set. Like most people he's worked with have been professional, and I thought that was pretty eye opening, because a lot of times you hear about people's insecurities or their needs.
People have too many peccadillos.
Yeah, peccadillos is a good. Yeah, that's a good Mita Pro ism.
That is. Yeah, thank you. That's like one of those words that Pete Cronin uses during his Keys to the Game,
right,
on the BC broadcast.
That's right.
But no, I think that was surprising to me. I mean, I don't think they don't like to throw each other under the bus either.
Right.
But I think, in general, Hollywood people are so weary of that.
Yeah.
Or leery of that Hollywood mentality of big timing people, and he's worked with the biggest names in the business. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
George Clooney, Julia Roberts.
How about the Clint
Tom
Eastwood
Hanks.
story? That was pretty cool.
Clint Eastwood was a great story. Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Mike Pachico now is added to the
Mike
list.
Pachico's added to the list. Yeah.
I mean, we're talking royalty in Hollywood. So if anyone could answer it, he could, and I'm sure, like the rest of the sports viewing public, he will be glued to his television tonight in Los Angeles, watching the NFL draft, and the over-under on the number of times the computer screens freeze and the feeds freeze. And I don't know if you saw John Lynch of the 49ers, their GM, he tweeted it, his home office. He has
oh my God, did you see that? I mean, that made
computer screens.
Yeah, that made esports people jealous.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that made you kidding me? That made Ben and Nick Mita Perel
jealous. Speaking of Ben, did he finish his assignment?
Oh, of course not.
Yeah.
No, you kidding me? He's on he is doing his math homework now, so I do give him credit for that.
Yeah.
But, Ben will complete that assignment maybe in 2023.
Yeah. Well, and just to shed one last good guy thing about Mike O'Malley. So Ben had a chance to talk to him a little bit before we started recording, and Mike gave him, because Ben's kind of an aspiring, thinks he wants to get into, maybe producing or directing or getting into the business side, I guess, or the creative side, not the on-air side of TV and movies. And I thought Mike gave him some great advice about writing, and that's really, I tell broadcasters that, young kids that want to be play-by-play announcers or talk shows, the best thing you can do is start writing, become good at writing, learn to write for your craft.
The game.
Yeah. Yep. Because then that all translates later.
Be creative. It's
right.
Creative language.
Yeah.
You learn that from DJ Stout.
And descriptive, right? Listo Fisher.
Descriptive. Yes.
Short, quick, right, and short, quick, declarative sentences. That was my Listo Fisher lesson. Absolutely.
Be concise.
Yeah.
Don't tell me something I know.
Yeah.
Tell me something I don't know.
Right. Exactly.
Yes. That's. I can hear Listo resonating in your head, along with Rod Fritz.
Yeah. Doug Cope.
WRKO newsroom.
Yeah, the old days of WHDH radio in the newsroom. But
yes, but the draft tonight, I think.
It's exciting, right?
It's fascinating from a logistics standpoint, and from the fact that it's a crapshoot again, because no one knows who the hell's going where.
Right, and I think the biggest thing is, and this is, I guess, I enjoy kind of peripherally watching some of these mock drafts. I don't necessarily get into it as far as creating my own, and it's something that Dave Friedman and I talk about all the time. Unless you're watching like every college football game and going back and re-watching game film. Look, the first round is basically, the first 30, 35, 40 picks, I think, are maybe not order, but you understand what 40 guys are going to be picked. After that, it's a crapshoot. I mean, and maybe you could say, look, these 300 players are probably going to get drafted, right? Order is, I guess, the biggest thing. But it's how often are people right? I mean, nobody goes back, and I think for a reason, right? Nobody goes back and grades or critiques the mock drafts, right? I mean, those things just go out into the ether, and then nobody really, unless somebody has a really awesome draft, but no one's ever gone 32 for 32.
Think about it. If you get 25 out of 32 in the first round, that's a damn good percentage.
Right. And you can't forecast trades, right? I mean, trades are...
that's what could be happening as we speak.
Right.
As we tape this around 1:30 Eastern time, Miami's supposedly trying to shuffle the deck to
They're trying to climb
up there and get a top 3 pick. Probably make a swap with Detroit.
Yeah.
They want an offensive lineman.
Right.
They don't necessarily want the quarterback. They want the offensive lineman.
Right.
They feel like they could probably go with Fitzpatrick and someone else this year. They might end up with Justin Herbert or Tua.
Yeah.
But right now it looks like they're trying to get that stud offensive lineman.
Right. And here in Carolina, everybody's talking about maybe the Panthers are a candidate to draft down. I would say unless the 2 or 3 guys they really want have already been taken, I think they'll stay at 7. But what you don't know is what people get their socks knocked off, right? I mean, if someone wants to trade up to 7 and they say to the Panthers, "Hey, we'll give you our first round pick and maybe a second round pick," maybe that's too good to pass up.
Enticing.
Yeah.
Maybe that's enticing with their old their buddy Dave Gettleman, your buddy.
Yeah.
Sitting at number 4. I think that the one really intriguing defensive player to me is in that top 8.
Yeah.
Derek Brown's been pegged at Carolina at 7 as a defensive tackle.
Yeah.
But to me, it's Isaiah Simmons.
Right.
With from Clemson, who I saw play a lot.
Yeah.
But last year, I walked away from the game thinking, all right, this guy's a certified number 1 pick.
Right.
2 years ago, I said he's probably a 3rd or 4th rounder. He's a tweener. He got so much better.
Right.
Between the last 2 years, he was a unbelievable presence. He made every play.
Yeah. Well, and he is what we would describe as a position flexibility guy, right? Because he can kind of plug a few different.
He's a defender, Mike.
Yeah. He's a defender. Yeah.
That's what we're calling him.
Yeah.
We're calling him a defender.
He's a defender. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're known as a broadcaster.
Yeah.
So he's a defender.
Yeah. I like it with cornerbacks when they call him boundary. He's a boundary guy.
You like the boundary, or you want an innie or an outie?
Innie.
You an innie or an outie?
An innie?
Remember those?
Yeah. Yeah. Rover.
You an innie or an outie?
Rovers are good too. He's a rover.
Rovers are good. Yeah. One of your favorite dog names.
Yeah.
I think it's a crapshoot in that Simmons is probably going to get locked in at 4, but then all right, the Panthers make a deal that changes things at 7.
Right.
It's always those fascinating first 15, 20 picks.
Right. Well, and you can't forecast the position run, right? Like you said, what if Miami moves up? Maybe there's a run in offensive tackles. Well, maybe that drops a guy like Simmons down 2 or 3 spots, right?
Right.
Maybe somebody really covets Justin Herbert, or Tua kind of has. I've heard Tua go anywhere in the first 10 or 12 picks potentially. I've seen some guys have him rated a little bit lower. I mean, I'd
be stunned if he slides to like 15.
I doubt it'll go that low, but I think there maybe it's just gonna be interesting to see I think the runs on positions. What's gonna happen? Is quarterback going to be that position, or is it going to be look? Anybody can use an offensive tackle, especially a left tackle, or and for defense, if you can get that elite run stuffer, or a guy that can clog up the middle and force double teams. Good pass rusher.
How do you build a strong team? It's the Belichick. This has been written about this week by Ben Volen on the Globe. His values have always been the same in the last 30 years. You build a strong team up the middle.
Yeah,
and like baseball, you know that. Right. You build a strong team up the middle.
Yep.
Catching, shortstop, center field.
Yep.
You're strong up the middle, you got a good chance, and that's how Belichick's fortified his philosophy. Yeah. So that's why I think the Patriots are going to pick a center.
Yeah.
Number 1, because they need one. David Andrews has blood clots. Cesar Ruiz, I tweeted out at Meets Tweets earlier that I think he's going to be the Patriots pick. He also gives them position flexibility, and he allows them to possibly trade Joe Thuney, who they franchised. They need to create salary cap space because they have none. 0.
Yeah.
They have about $1 million under the cap, and this just in, they need to sign draft picks.
Yeah.
So they need that payroll flexibility. If they trade Tooney, maybe grab a second-round pick, gives them a chance to draft Jalen Hurts in the second round. I got this all planned out, Mike.
You do. I like it. You have your draft board is all set.
It might move. It's 8:03, but I got it all planned out right now.
All planned out. That's good.
Me and Nick Casario have a direct line.
Yeah, well, you should be in personnel. Actually, I think people should be. I think
they should be knocking down my door.
Yeah.
Once upon a time ago, I got a call from Bucko Kilroy, asking me to be a ball boy, but
that's a little different.
It's a little different. Of course, Dick Steinberg, who drafted Heartless Dykes instead of Andre Rison,
right?
As we saw this week on ESPN on the '89 draft. The best was, I don't know if you saw on Twitter. Do you follow Funhouse?
I have, yes. I do.
Back after this is also another good one with Mike Francesa's.
Well, Funhouse was the account that didn't they get like a cease and desist order? Or they were the ones that sparked. Yeah, they sparked the ire because they put out that clip of Francesa when it was like the first time I guess when Francesa really ripped the president and some of the testing and the response of the government and then I guess they put up the one of your favorites, the disclaimer that nobody does anymore, that people couldn't use any of the Mike Francesa's stuff without express written consent from WFAN and radio.com, I think. It's
not allowed, but they had a Jets compilation of Jets fans' reactions from their horrendous draft picks.
Wow.
From the 80s was classic when they drafted Kyle Brady.
Yeah.
They drafted Jeff Lageman. They drafted Johnny Mitchell.
Yeah.
They drafted Blair Thomas, any number of horrendous
one of your
picks
favorites.
From the Jets, from the Marriott Marquis where Mike Pacheco used to hang out sipping martinis.
That was down the street.
When he worked in New York City.
Yeah, I lived down the street from there. I was very close
to the
Marquis.
You were a big martini bar guy.
You know what? I don't know that I ever did go to a martini bar in New York.
Oh, here he goes. Now,
hey, look, I'm blue collar when it comes to
for John Hamm's character.
I just need cold beer. Give me a Foley's, man. I like Foley's NYC, man. That's my spot. That's my New York headquarters when I go to New York City.
I love Foley's. Now, Sean Foley is the best
Sean Clancy.
in New York City.
Yeah, Sean Clancy.
Excuse me, Clancy.
Yeah.
Foley, Clancy, same.
Yeah, named after Red Foley. And
he gets it.
Yeah, it's a baseball-themed Irish bar. But and the food is actually great. I mean, you think of a bar, you think of going to get drinks and beer and stuff. Their food is fantastic, too.
It is fantastic. Now you're on to something. We have to take a Life Without Sports field trip.
Yes, we do. We should take it on the road.
We might do a live show at Foley's.
We could do that. As soon as this self-imposed quarantining is lifted, I think we should do that.
I think it's.
I mean, it's not quite in the middle, but it's a sprint for you.
Yeah, a sprint on the Acela. You'll take the Pacheco Air from Charlotte
the Pacheco
Douglas.
Air. Yeah, I'll get on the private jet. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think we're onto something there. But Foley's we highly recommend.
Yeah, that's funny.
And you could also check out the Mike Pacheco autograph ball.
There is a Mike Pacheco ball there. That's true. That's true.
Foley's.
Last time I was there, I saw it too.
Yeah, you demanded that I go take a picture last time I was there. I think you were situated between Willie Mays and I think Suzanne Plachette.
Yeah, no, I got moved into the media section, so I think I was on the same row at one time as Bonnie Bernstein, I think, or I was proximity to her and somebody from the USA Today. Yeah,
probably Hal Bodley or something.
Yeah.
Bob Nightingale.
Bob Nightingale. Yeah, it might have been Bob Nightingale actually. I'll have to ask Sean next time I talk to him.
I get you guys confused often, but I think the draft in any year is intriguing because guys like us, again, even though I watch a ton of football, always have, always will. It's what I do.
Right.
Pay no attention to that
the dryer
Boston Garden horn that just went off.
The clothes are done.
Clothes are done, Ben. Ben.
Lovey. Oh man.
Who does laundry in the Pacheco house?
Mrs. P loves doing laundry. Seriously.
Mrs. P.
Yeah, loves doing laundry.
Whoa. All right.
Yeah.
See, because you are the classic honeydew. There's nothing Mike Pacheco can't do, including cook.
Well, I've been the gardener lately. I've been doing a lot of landscaping, but yeah, I love to cook. That's fun. That's the good part.
What do you like, the gardener and Curb Your Enthusiasm? Larry, I have the remedy for your wife.
Sometimes I feel more like J.B. Smoove.
Do you remember the remedy issue, the remedy episode?
I don't remember that one. I didn't
yeah.
Check
something
that one
I can't. It's a little bit too
it.
risque for life without
gotcha.
sports.
Yeah. Well, it's not made for kids, so we do check that box off every day.
Yeah, we do check that off. But
yeah.
I think as far as guys, what I'd like to do, Mike, as you're our Panthers correspondent, because God knows we have every Carolina Panther fan in the world watches this show.
That's right.
And I'm your Patriots correspondent, so I'm going to throw you a couple names to watch tonight.
Okay.
If you're a New England Patriot fan.
Yeah.
Maybe you could do the same if you're a Carolina Panthers fan.
Yeah.
Names to keep on your radar. And I know I'm throwing this at you. I'm giving you something. I'm giving you a fastball down the middle.
That's all right. That's all right. I can handle it.
All right, so I'm going to start with my pick in the first round, Cesar Ruiz, the center out of Michigan.
Yep.
I'm also going to go with Kenneth Murray, a linebacker from Oklahoma. These are possible first-round picks.
Right.
Zach Bond, a linebacker from Wisconsin. 12.5 sacks this year, I believe 19.5 tackles for loss. Outside linebacker, edge rusher. Those are three good first-round possible selections for New England at number 23. I'm also going to go with, now in the later rounds, in the second round, I think they don't have a pick, but I think they're going to leverage Tooney. They're going to trade Tooney. They're going to pick up a second-round pick. They're going to go up and draft Jalen Hurts, quarterback from Alabama.
Yeah.
They think Pittsburgh wants him. The Patriots will draft ahead of Pittsburgh. They will take Jalen Hurts in the second round. After that, some names to watch, later-round picks. They'll definitely pick a tight end. I'm hoping it's Adam Troutman from Dayton. Probably won't be. I'm guessing Thaddeus Moss is on their board, tight end from LSU, Randy Moss's son, who does have a broken foot at the moment, but they think he'll be healed by training camp. He had a really good year this year. Excellent blocker, can also catch the ball. This is a name who's a lock. We'll talk about it tomorrow. And even if they don't draft him, they'll sign him as a free agent. Alohoy Gilman.
Really?
Safety from Notre Dame. He is a Navy transfer.
Okay.
He's a Patrick Chung type. Good in-the-box safety. You like those in-the-box guys. And they're only human. Who doesn't like that?
Right.
So, Alohoy Gilman is a phenomenal late-round pick for the Patriots. He'll be a special teams contributor and probably a nickel safety. Definitely Gilman on your radar for New England in the late rounds.
Yeah, I mean, and you look at when you look at Carolina, I mean, they have really so many needs to fill, and a lot of it's on the defensive side. Now Teddy Bridgewater was signed in the offseason. No Cam Newton. If you didn't know that, you've been living under a rock. I mean, that was kind of the big story, not just for the Panthers, but in the NFL.
Still unsigned,
and he's still unsigned, by the way. Correct. So I think you could see, now they also they traded for the kid from Temple that has some familiarity with
P.J. Walker.
Matt Rule. Yeah, Walker played in the XFL, and so I could see them going quarterback in the draft. I don't know that they would go Tua. I don't know if they'd try and take him at 7 or if he's still there. I think the need is going to be more on the defensive side. And Derek Brown, the defensive tackle out of Auburn, is the guy that I would look for to see the Panthers take there. Now, I think if he's there, they might go Isaiah Simmons. And I think really, Marty Hurney's strategy over the years has been best player available. Now, sometimes we saw this with Gettleman. He talked about, I'm going to take the best player available. I think it was Dave Gettleman's last draft. It looked like it was a draft for need with some of the guys that they picked up. But, get those shirts out. Ben!
Love it.
Ben!
Love it.
Jeff Okudah, I think, is a guy that could be available. I mean, if he's available, is a guy that they would certainly take. A lot of the mock drafts I've seen of him, John, that people have him taken maybe a little bit higher. Javon Kinlaw, who's from just down the road, South Carolina, the Gamecocks. Yeah. Now, here when they say USC, they say some of the locals here would say South Carolina. Most of the world and most of the country, USC is Southern California.
It's not fight on.
Yeah.
It's not, as I used to say, cocks always rise to the occasion.
But I think a guy like C.J. Henderson from Florida, cornerback, he could be.
That was an old primetime line.
Yeah,
Mikey.
yes, it was indeed. You know, they'll probably maybe later rounds maybe look at maybe they really don't need that much on the wide receiver side necessarily, but that's a possibility too. Is later rounds maybe shoring up. But I would say from this draft perspective, if they get a quarterback, whether it's Tua, Justin Herbert, maybe they get a later round guy. That's gonna be a possibility. But for me, the needs up front for the Panthers are the immediate needs are on the defensive line, both edge rusher. Middle of the line, big stout defensive tackle type that can also, can maybe draw a lot of attention on the offensive line to allow the linebackers to, that's what made Luke Kuechly so successful. When the Panthers had that stout defensive line, it allowed him and Thomas Davis to really do some damage, and that's really I think what the core of what they want to get back to. So. To me, this watch it be tomorrow. We'll be laughing that they went offense, but I'd be stunned if they didn't go defense in that first pick.
I think they're pretty loaded, especially a receiver.
Right.
They're small, but they're loaded.
Yeah.
Guys like, DJ Moore really came on last year for them.
Right.
Obviously, McCaffrey's an ultra threat wherever you put him.
Right.
If I'm Carolina, I'm going defense. Yeah. Another name to remember for the Patriots is Marlon Davidson, not Marlon Wayans, but Marlon Davidson, defensive tackle from Auburn.
Yeah.
Who, along with Derek Brown, was part of their big push last year for Gus Malzahn. He is a absolute stud athletically.
Yeah.
He's 330 pounds, but he moves.
Right.
He's a dancing bear.
Right.
To borrow another Pete Cronin'ism.
Yeah.
So I think he is a guy that I think the Patriots. I wouldn't be surprised to see him picked along with AJ Epinesa from Iowa.
Yep.
Another guy that you've read a lot about. Some people have him going to Houston as a J.J. Watt clone. There's a lot of – I think this is a defense-heavy draft.
Yeah.
It's a receiver-heavy draft.
Yeah.
You're probably going to be at least 5 receivers picked in the first round, if not 6. I mean, think about it. You could get a guy like Justin Jefferson, who was a star for LSU when they won the national championship.
Yeah.
He's probably going to go in the late 20s.
Yeah. That guy's – I mean, I love watching him. I mean, I saw probably LSU 3 or 4 times, and of course, in the championship game. I liked what I saw from him. Maybe not the fastest guy, but I mean, good size, good strength, catch. Good catch radius.
Good catch radius. Yes. Thank you, Todd O'Shea.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's. Yeah. You could see.
It'd be interesting to see what the feeling is without. I think it would have been such a huge event in Vegas.
Yeah.
800,000 people they were estimating over the 3 days. Right. Tonight they would have been at the Bellagio, like levitating above the water, walking across a bridge.
Right.
That's what it was going to be like, to walk across that water and, shake the commissioner's hand. And now you're going to see Roger Goodell in Bronxville, New York, in his basement.
Right. You think he'll get booed by his family?
Well, supposedly NFL, at least they have a sense of humor. Is going to pipe in crowd noise and booze will be prevalent. That's true.
I know. I saw that.
That's so that good sense of humor on their part.
Yeah.
But if there are some technical screw ups, that will be a worthwhile watch.
Right. Well, and the television side, right? I mean, you could look at it's kind of the potential for glitches from the team perspective, but the NFL and ESPN are teaming up and doing something that's unprecedented, right? I mean, this type of broadcast. So, and I know that they've been working on, they've been doing run-throughs and doing everything, making sure that everything goes well with the broadcast. But there's just so much, man. I mean, it's whoever, come on, would you get the dryer?
Love it.
Towels are done.
Does that mean an overload or something? Sounds like it's like the Chicago Stadium horn.
Yeah,
Blackhawks scored a goal.
They scored another goal. It's 3-0.
Shot scored.
3-0. We're still in the first period here. It's 3-0.
Dennis Savard, the assist from Steve Larmer at 8:25.
Actually, not to be funny, the other thing to look out for the Panthers, is, Matt Rule, Phil Snow, a couple of the other coaches came from Baylor, so you might see make some Baylor players sprinkled out throughout the. I don't think they'll go like 3 or 4, but
good pick. Denzel Mims, receiver, Baylor.
Yeah,
that could be your Carolina Panther.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they'll go as high as 8 with him, but
no,
he's a heck of a player.
Yeah. So that's something to keep an eye on.
Yep. No, good call, Mike. You got to look for the trees, coaching trees. It's like you and you draw the Pacheco tree from the Merrimack College days and Tommy Cato.
That's right. I'm pre Joe Carvin days.
Are you weren't coached by Tom Cato?
No, that was so we were. I was there from '87 to I graduated in '91, and then I told you they disbanded the program my senior year. And then they brought it back like 5-6 years later, and that's when Cato came into the picture. But that's actually and this is funny because this is not scripted, but this actually is my throwback Thursday.
Oh,
the game jersey, my Merrimack College game jersey, baby.
That is special.
This was our
rise up out of the chair for camera.
So this is our my freshman and sophomore years. We had new jerseys.
That looks like a Notre Dame knockoff.
Yeah. Well, and
I like it. Number 81. You and Tim Brown.
That's right.
Famous number 81s.
That's right. I love Tim Brown. He was great. Actually, but
Tim Brown.
The 81 though actually came from it's a nod to my brother Ted. He wore number 81 in high school, so I wore. That's where the 81 came from.
Great TBT.
So.
Well done. Now, has it been washed? Because I can throw it in the dryer real quick if you want.
You know what? Let's wash it. Maybe hand dry it.
You don't want to shrink that because soon that will be in an Applebee's in Chelmsford.
Oh, are you kidding me? No, this is.
You'll be a hometown hero.
No, this is like the Stanley Cup. I have 2 guys with white gloves getting ready to, carefully fold it and put it back into its case.
I'm telling you should be a hometown hero in Arlington.
Yeah. Well,
Jerry Callahan was a hometown hero in Chelmsford.
Yeah. Well, Dane Cook is kind of one of Arlington's big celebrities, so I don't know if I can compete with Dane Cook.
Oh, you could pull it off.
Olympia Dukakis, she was
pull it off. If the Brighams was still there.
Yeah.
Well, if the Brighams was still there.
They'd be hanging up in Brighams if Brighams was still there. Are you kidding me?
Exactly. Well, they could say this is where the legendary Mike Pacheco made Sharpies.
Right. Yeah. You love the Sharpie.
Oh, by the way, he was number 81 for Merrimack College.
The Warriors, baby.
The Warriors. And speaking of Vegas, I don't know if you saw this, but this is just a classic. What the bleep is she talking about moment with the mayor of Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Carol Goodman.
Right.
No relation to Oscar. Maybe Oscar Goodman's daughter. I don't know.
I'm assuming.
Vegas,
I think there's a connection there.
There's got to be a relation, right?
Yeah.
But she was interviewed by Anderson Cooper and eviscerated for her stupidity about Vegas is talking about opening up the casinos now. And, they're ready. We're ready to open them up again. Right. Business as usual.
Right.
And Anderson Cooper was incredulous, in his line of questioning, saying, are you serious? Do you realize what you're doing? Do you realize what's going to happen? You're putting people in death's way and harm's way. And asked her if she was willing to, go to a casino every night and put her life on the line with the rest of these workers who have to go out there. I mean, can you believe she's thinking of this?
Well, and the other interesting clip that out of that was when he asked her how they expected. I'm paraphrasing. The question basically was, how do you expect the casinos and the hotels to keep everything sanitized and the whole 9 yards? And right. She's like, that's not my problem. Was essentially, that's their job. That's not my job.
Well, that's the Venetian's problem.
Right.
I'm just telling them to open.
Right. But the funny thing is, it's like, not to get too heavy here, but, it's like, I think the great debate that's going to come out of this, besides the fact that the towels are done, is that, this is going to be a great debate, I think, moving forward. And I think this election is going to be interesting. And even the next 4 to 8 years, like, what is the role of government? What is, there are some people, and it seems like a lot of these people have become elected that feel like that, no government or tiny government is good. But when you have 330 million people, you can't have no government. Like that's just not realistic. And we're seeing why government matters, right? Just the inaction early on to this pandemic. If we had acted quickly, particularly in the testing side of things, would we still be in quarantine? Possibly. I'm not saying that that's not the case, but I think the outbreak wouldn't be nearly as severe. That's hard to tell, but I look at it like this, and I know, and I think at the time the president did take heat for this in some circles, closing down China, but to me that was the equivalent of shutting the barn door after the horses already came out. Like maybe one horse stayed in the barn, but the rest of the horses were already out. I mean, it was out there.
And the problem is, Trump has empowered these people. Trump has empowered the mayors like Carol Goodman. Right. Trump has empowered governors who have, they have a lot of jurisdiction, but not as much as they usually did under other presidents.
Yeah.
Now governors are suddenly all powerful,
right?
Because Trump has no plan,
right?
And he's relying on the Cuomos of the world and the Bakers of the world and the DeWines of the world to make sure that they are aligned in their legislative processes.
Well, and I think that to me the two biggest issues out of this, and again, this is all going to be Monday morning quarterback, and this definitely going to be congressional hearings, and not so much to look for criminal neglect, but just like I think the investigations need to focus on. Let's not let this happen again. Let's learn from this. I mean, this sucks, but what the other problem is this, right? And it goes back to the campaign where Donald Trump said, I could go on Fifth Avenue and kill somebody and everybody would still elect me. There's this notion that this guy can't do anything wrong, and that's not true. Like nobody has 100% success rate in everything they do. It's just impossible. No one does. We all make mistakes. We're flawed people. We're human beings. So there have been mistakes made in this pandemic, but nobody wants to. The people in power right now don't want to acknowledge that. They want to say everything is fine. They pushed this the malaria drug, which that's gone on deaf ears because people dying from taking it because it's not the right antidote to this.
Including almost Rita Wilson.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks' wife.
Right, and I think you and I have mentioned this before. And there's I think it was a World Health, ironically, doctor. And this is a video from a couple years ago. This has nothing to do with this pandemic. But he was talking about when you have pandemics like this, the number one weapon you have is acting quickly. You don't have to be perfect, but you have to be good and you have to be fast. And we were neither in this case, I think. And now the big debate. Now have all these people coming out and saying, we gotta get the economy going again. Mm-hmm. And look, you and I would raise our hands for jobs right now, right? I mean, we'd love to have games to call, but I don't want to put myself in a situation where I have to go to a game or cover something, and maybe I bring the infection, maybe I get infected and come home with it. Like, what good is it?
Which is very, very possible.
And it is possible. And I think the scientists probably have a good handle on this by now, but we don't know everything. We don't know for certainty that this thing's not going to whip around and be worse. We don't know what kind of strains. Idea. Right.
No one has any clue. I don't care who. You could be, name the greatest president in the world ever.
Yeah.
Fill in the blank, whoever you want to call the greatest president of all time. Who's the greatest president of all time?
Greatest president of all time. Wow. I'd probably have to go with the first one.
FDR?
George Washington. First president.
Now we're going way back.
Way back. Best president in the 20th century.
This is old-time baseball.
I think
old-time baseball.
Best president in the 20th.
Abraham Lincoln?
Yeah, Abraham Lincoln. You can make a great case for that. But if you think about... No, but the reason why I say Washington is just because, not just because it was the birthplace, right? Do you have George Washington's towels ready? But in all seriousness, John, to put everything we were probably as fractured, maybe more so then than we are now. But and to be able to bring all groups together, e pluribus unum, right, out of many one, and to kind of herald that in. I think he was the kind of person that could get people who disagreed to agree on things for the betterment of society. I think your FDR is a great example. I mean, he's a guy that gets vilified on the right, but that was the 1930s. My parents lived through that. I mean, the 30s were tough. World War II, arguably one of our greatest challenges that we've overcome. We had two back-to-back, right? The Great Depression and World War II. Right. And a lot of people credit World War II for getting us out of the Depression because it put people to work.
Yeah, no, I think it's just a matter of now moving out of the darkness somehow and figuring out, what is the plan? Someone give me a plan. What is the plan? The plan is to find a vaccine. Okay, how are we doing?
Right.
Are we close? Are we not close? Are we 8 months away? Are we 12 months away? Are we 3 years away? All right. Thanks, Donald Trump.
Well, but I think the biggest thing, John, is I think we're cutting off our nose to spite our face in the sense of I think everybody what do we need to do to get back to work, right? Like what needs to happen? Vaccine I think is a 6 to 12 month play, but what can we do in the immediate time frame between now and the next 6 months to get people back to work? And I think it has to come down to testing. And I think we've been so slow to get testing up and running and available. That's how you get people to work, because then you can self-quarantine if you have the symptom, if you're not feeling well. And I think people have to have a gut check. Like, you got to be brutally honest with yourself. I mean, I know you want to go to work, but, if you got a cough, a little bit of a congestion, you have a temperature, stay home. Stay home for 2 weeks.
Right.
But there's, I don't know.
And a lot of people haven't done that.
Yeah. I mean, I just think there's, and this is oversimplification, but I feel like there's me first and we first people. And I think and a lot of people, I think, have a good balance between we and me. But I think a lot of people that are making decisions right now are me first people, and they're concerned about themselves first, and then everybody else second. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but I think that's just the way it is. And I think for government, I think you have to be more of a balanced person. Like, yeah, there are times when you have to concern the individual, but there are times where the greater good is more important than the individual good. I don't know. That's just how I feel.
No, I think that concludes our political segment.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we went way too. I guarantee you, there's nobody talking NFL draft and the Las Vegas situation, and then diving deep into political policy on the
more in
pandemic.
Depth.
Yeah,
we had a George Washington reference.
Yes,
on Life Without Sports.
Yeah. Well, you sprung the president question on me. I wasn't really prepared for that. I hadn't really given any thought.
That's me, Mikey. Be prepared for the unexpected.
That's right. That was a good curveball.
Absolutely, but we will have a complete draft recap
tomorrow.
Take a
look at it tomorrow.
And we will also perhaps have a special guest as well.
I like it.
Maybe an old linebacker will join us.
Yes, we did talk about that.
We did talk about an old linebacker joining us.
Is he hunkered down in the woods of Maine?
Hunkered down in the woods of Maine with probably a full bottle of vodka right next to him.
Yeah, and 2 cases of Miller Lite.
Yeah. Oh, you kidding me? I think he's an old Milwaukee guy.
Well, whenever I've been around him, he's been a Miller Lite guy.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I think if it's clear, he'll drink it.
Yeah, right. That's funny.
Put some hops in it, he'll drink it. But that's a tease for you tomorrow.
Yes.
A guy who was drafted once upon a time ago as well. So, Mike Pacheco is always a pleasure, and it was, we just try to go where Mike O'Malley went before us. We're trying to keep up that great momentum here on Life Without Sports. And don't forget, may all your todays be as happy as your tomorrows. So long, everybody. Everyone.